This is kind of going to be a little bit of a different video. The background is me painting the eradicators from the indominus crusade box I got. Now, I told myself I wasn't going to get another box of minis until I finished this box of minis. Well, I mean, everyone's pile of shame grows, right? So, I was able to get ordered a box of... Oh, what's the name of the box? Death Corpse of Krieg. It was that box. It was the Krieg box. So I was able to get that ordered. And it is supposed to show up as of day of recording this and day of painting, because I'm doing this right after I edited and I'm doing the voiceover for it. It is supposed to show up in 5 days. So I am kind of challenging myself to paint the rest of this box, which has 3 more Blade Guard veterans, 3 what are they called? What are the motorcycle outriders? A whole outrider squad of 3, and a whole bunch of Necron units still left to paint. So I'm gonna have my luck cut out for me. I just forgot the name of the unit I'm painting. These eradicators, that's what it is, took me about 2 hours to paint and get everything painted on them. Now, that's no transfer sheets, no nothing, and in the end, I haven't put any transfer sheets on them yet as I'm recording this. But, like I said, this is going to be a little different video. So, we're going to go into a little bit of a story time here. Actually, we'll go 2 story times. So, about a week and a half ago, I'll say, I was painting, I'm pretty sure, what would that have been I was painting? I believe it was the adjudicator? The judiciary. That's what it is. Judiciary, whatever it's called. I don't know. I can't. Anyways, so I was working on that, and I was working late on it, and so obviously that meant that I was working into the night on it, because I started painting at 9, and that thing took me forever. And I took a break while I was painting it, and so I was kind of finishing up, and I was going to play a game with my buddy, so we started playing Arma, and all of a sudden, just kind of out of nowhere, I hear somebody say hello. Now, I don't know if you've played Arma Reforger, which is off of topic of 40k, but nobody says hello in that game. So that kind of freaked me out. And so, at my desk, I have a viable means of defense, as I'll put it. And so if I talk about the back door of my house and where my desk is, I can see onto the back porch and right at the back door. So that should tell you that if I can see them, well, it's behind the blinds that you all have seen in some of the shorts that I've had, those plaid blinds. So if I have that slightly cracked and I can see them, that means they can see me, especially with a light backlighting me. And so I don't know what it was, but I moved my headphone off of my ear and grabbed my way of defense, and kind of looked around, because it freaked me out, because again, I live out in the country, so nobody needs to be on my doorstep or anything like that, or anything, unless it's the cops. And if it's the cops, they're shining lights in my windows, they're banging on my door. It's not just like a light knock, knock, knock. Now, I will put in a segment here where I go knock on my door, and I want to see if my microphone picks it up, because I was talking to a buddy on Discord, and he didn't hear no knocking. So it was super odd that nobody heard no knocking, And I mean, we were playing Arma though, so it would make sense that nobody heard it. I didn't hear it, and I just wonder what they wanted. So I kind of get up and I don't see anything shut, but I look out the window that I have in front of me to the backyard, which is the barnyard, and I see headlights start to back up and pull out. And I'm just like, what is going on? So I keep my means of defense on me, and I like double check all the windows, double check all the doors, double check everything around the house. And so I'm like, okay, the house is clear. I am going to double check on my cousin's and his wife's place because they are my next door neighbor. They live, a quarter mile away, down a hill and up a hill basically. And I can't see their house perfectly. So I went from my house after I put away my means of defense, because that would be illegal if I continued to try to do anything with that. I got up, got in my truck, and started to head towards my cousin's place. Now, they were sound asleep because they're not degenerates, and and I have terrible time sleeping all the time. I never seem to fall asleep when I try to. Anyways, so I like drive by their house, and it's no lights, no nothing. Their garage door lights on. So if somebody was pulled in, I would see a silhouette of a vehicle. So I don't see no vehicle. So I'm like, well, I'm up, I'm awake now, and I'm not sleeping. So I'm just going to go to town real quick, grab something to drink from the gas station, come back home. So I get going further down the road, and I get probably 2-3 more miles down the road, and I see this vehicle that comes by me that has the exact same headlights as the vehicle I saw exit out of my driveway. Like, because I saw them back up when they were parked right next to my truck and like pull away. Thank God I leave my truck locked, because if they would have tried that, then the alarm would have went off. But anyways, so I'm going down the road and I meet this vehicle, and I know for a fact it's the same vehicle. I just know it. It's early 2000s GMC, kind of like headlights and front end style. And it could have been a Yukon or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. It was midnight and I was tired until that moment when I had a rush of adrenaline. So I go and turn around at the nearest point. Well, they can clearly see me pulling a U-turn, and I don't know what they think that I'm doing. I'm just trying to get up on this vehicle to get its license plate. Well, I kind of pull up on it, and I try to get as close as I can, and they keep kind of getting out of reach, and I'm like, well, I have to still replace the CV axle on this truck, so I'm not going to try breaking my truck trying to figure out who these people are. So they took the way I'm going to lay this out. So we're on a main drag of highway, not interstate, but highway, like a normal road. 55 miles an hour is the speed limit. They're already going like 70, and I'm going 60, and I'm like, I'm not going to tear up my truck trying to follow these people. I'll just see where they turn and follow them a little bit more, make sure I kind of scare them out of here. So I simply kept kind of like staying behind them, but not super close. So I watch them get ready to take a turn, and they turn on their turn signal. Then they kill the rest of their vehicle lights, and you can see a turn signal still lighting up bright as day. And it's just all like, why didn't you kill your turn signal if you were going to try to take a turn on in a dark, conspicuous way? And so they do that. Not only that, but the house that they turned next to has a street light. It's not an actual street light, but it's a barnyard light that lights up their vehicle. And at that time, I was for sure it was some sort of Yukon or something. And I'm kind of like, I'm going to keep following them because I know people that live down this road. The fire station's down this road. I don't want somebody breaking into the fire department because that requires a whole bunch of paperwork for us. I am one of the firefighters there, and I really don't want to have to deal with that. So I follow him down this road. It curves a little bit, it turns a little bit, and these guys are just flooring it. And I'm like, this is super suspicious. I can't call the cops yet. The only thing they've really done is some reckless driving. And, I mean, I can't call the cops on somebody being on my back porch. That's not illegal, technically. And so, I mean, they never tried breaking into the house or anything. And so, I watched them take another right-hand turn, and they didn't shut off their lights like they did last time. Which, again, why would you do that? Because you have a turn signal that is flashing, and it's shining the whole road, indicating what way you're going. So they take a right, and I'm all like, well, this can eventually circle back around to my house because it's just a big square kind of area. So I'm going to turn around right here and just floor it back to the farm, and because I want to make sure everything's secure, everything's tied up, nobody's trying to steal anything from the farm. So I get my means of self-defense again, and I went ahead and grabbed some other means of self-defense and kind of just checked the barn lot, check this, check that. And as I was going home to like do all this that I just talked about doing, I do remember seeing that vehicle come back that way, but it never made it back to my house. And my cousin and his wife have a camera that watches their driveway, and it did pick up the vehicle coming in and out. Now, like I said, as far as I'm aware, there's nothing illegal about doing any of this. Knocking on someone's door at midnight, probably not the smartest idea, especially living out in the country. Me personally, I'm not a huge people person. When I DoorDash food to my house because I don't like to grocery shop, I let them leave it on the back porch and do not talk to those people. I am not a people person, and if you're showing up at my house at midnight, it's not going to be a good situation unless you're the cops. So it was super odd. It really kind of freaked me out for the night, and it was just very sketch. Everything about it was sketch. So I invested in a security camera system in case it ever happens again, because I'm not about to let that crap happen a second time. It freaked me out. My buddy was concerned for me because, like I said, him and I were playing Arma, and I was just like, bro, this has freaked me out. I'm checking the house. I'm doing all this and such. So that's story number 1. This is story number 2. So, how many days ago was it? I think it was last week. Last week, we had a barn fire. Now, there were some cattle in the barn, and the cows and the baby calves were in there. Everybody got out. Nobody was hurt. Nobody was actually here except for me. And from the window that I can see kind of the barn area, I never saw any smoke come out. So I'm sitting inside for lunch, eating lunch, and I hear this vehicle fly through my driveway. Just somebody like going 40 miles an hour in my driveway. And I thought, what the hell is going on? So I get up off my desk, or out of my computer chair and everything. The same area that I paint is my computer office area. So again, I can see out the window and I don't see anything wrong, and I don't see anything. So I'm thinking, okay, cows are out, I'm gonna have to go chase cows. That's not unusual. That's entirely normal for my line of work. So I go out and I get to the first barn that is like covering the barn that I can't see where the fire was, and I see a bunch of smoke coming out of it. Now, like I said, I am a local volunteer firefighter. I'm not a full-time firefighter. I keep my gear at home due to incidents that are like this, or when neighbors of mine might have fires, and if I can be there to rush in with coat and all my bunker gear and everything to get a dog out, to get a person out, anything like that before it gets too bad where you can't do nothing, then I'm going to really try. Because it's a bad day when a house burns. And it's an even worse day when you lose anything that you care about. I've been to enough house calls that it's always never a great time. Anyways, I was rambling on other stuff about being a firefighter. Anyways, so I go out and I see the smoke, and I double back for my fire gear that I have in the house, get my bunker gear on, get my jacket on, get my helmet on, and I go out. And what does everyone do? If you got a garden hose in range, you start spraying it. So I'm fighting a pretty not decent, well, a whole wall was on fire. About how tall would that wall be? A 10-foot wall? No, 10 or 11-foot wall was kind of already lit on fire. And so I'm just putting this out with the hose, and there's fire burning some of the straw that's in the bedding of what we call our calf warming room. And the whole intention of the room is to warm baby calves for cold winters nights when newborns are here, so they don't have frostbite and they don't lose their tail or lose part of their ears or most of their ears, which is some have happened like that. So we try to take care of our cattle. So the fire's going. There's no calves in there. Everybody got them out, and I'm sitting in there with this fire hose, or no, not with a fire hose, with the garden hose, thinking, okay, for me to get to the fire station is about 7 minutes. And so I know water and a good fire hose is about 7 minutes out. Well, obviously I didn't go to the fire station, and I don't know if my fellow firefighters didn't rush, but that's fine because another fire department that is in the same fire district as us showed up, and I immediately took the hose from them and started dumping water on it. Eventually, after about an hour and a half of kind of just putting water on it, and I don't know how many gallons of water truly, we got the fire out. Everything was okay. I did a total of about $500. I don't know exactly how much damage it did. I mean, it's just going to take sheets of plywood to replace the wood. What had happened was a heater got turned when we let a pair out that morning, and it didn't get shut off. Well, it got to 55 degrees that morning, or that like midday, and so the heater wasn't going to kick back on. So once it started to get cold that afternoon, the heater kicked back on, and man, that thing really starts fire really fast. So we know how it all started. Everything's okay. All the cattle are okay, and that's the important thing. We've still got to figure out how to fix that, but that's all right. Finally, my last talking point in this 30-minute long video, I believe it's supposed to be 30 minutes long, I'm not quite sure, because I'm starting to run out of stuff to talk about, is kind of my plans for what I plan on doing for the channel-wise. So, I still have a Norm emissary to paint. I'm kind of afraid to paint it because the base turned out super great, and I'm afraid the actual mini itself is not going to turn out half as good as the base did. That's kind of a fear that I have there, but I've got my two other Tyranid minis that I have painted up, and I will be using them as reference to how I'm going to paint this one, kind of. I might change a couple things color-wise. It won't be much change color-wise, but I might change some stuff up. The necrons that come in this box are going to take me a little bit Now, the box might actually show up. The Krieg box might show up before I'm done with these. I will not touch a Krieg Mini until I get this box finished. Because I'm not going to sit there and let my pile of shame just grow exponentially like some people do. Now, with the ultimate starter box that I started out with, this is how I started my whole Warhammer stuff, except for the 10 Intercessors and the 10 Termagants that I bought. The ultimate starter box is how I started most of my Warhammer stuff. I still have a bunch of units to paint from that. And that's just a combat patrol, but I might wait because I have the combat patrol magazine and it comes with even more of the exact same units, which is I'm fine with. I'm not a huge Tyranid guy. I kind of chose Tyranid as like a secondary faction just cuz like they were in Space Marine 2. So I just thought they were cool. Also, big monsters. Come on. You can't tell me that's not cool. Another thing, why does the Tau? Why do so many people not like the Tau? I don't understand it. If you got this far in the video, leave it in the comments below. Tell me why you don't like the Tau. Because big mechs are cool. Okay? I like big chonker boys. No, basically, the Norm Emissary, the Dreadnought, the Brutalist Dreadnought that comes with the premium version of the Combat Patrol magazine that I'll have. The Centurions that I've got on the way and will be put into the pile of shame. And the Devastator Centurions, because I have both Assault and Devastator Centurions that are supposed to be here in like in 2 days. So there's no way I'm going to start painting on those because I'm going to have to start painting these. The Death Corps box, I will do an opening of. Just to kind of show it to everybody. What else did I want to talk about? So that's that. Combat Patrol magazine, I'm going to keep up as long as they send me stuff. There was a little bit of confusion because they told me the dispatch day was going to be March 5th. And I had already gotten my magazines for March, the first two, which is the first two that they sent out. And they said they would send out only 2 to start with. And it confused me, and I got kind of mad about it because they were like, well, your next dispatch is March 5th. And I'm like, well, you didn't charge my account. You haven't notified me of anything. What's going on? And they're like, well, we do a 28-day, like, thing. You got your magazines on this date, so you won't get them for another 28 days. And I'm like, yeah, then why was your dispatch date wrong? Because the person I talked to before that person was like, yeah, your next dispatch date's March 12th. And I'm just like, I just got the magazines. How is my next dispatch date March 12th? Why has nothing been sent out? So if I missed minis because the 5th magazine comes with an exclusive Flamer Sergeant, and if I missed minis, man, I'm gonna be upset because I was excited for that exclusive Sergeant. Damn it. That's that talked about, and concluding this video, a video will go up of me putting these on the shelf that I have that I call the Shelf of Fame. And bad news, but good news. Good news, more or less. I'm running out of room on the Shelf of Fame. I cannot fit 3 more Blade Guard. I could probably fit 3 more Blade Guard veterans and a chaplain, but I cannot fit 3 Outriders. So it's fine because I have another floating shelf like the one that holds all the minis that I have. upstairs. All I gotta do is take it down, bring it downstairs, set it up on the wall. And if I run out of room on that thing, then I need to probably seek some help, because then I have an actual addiction. And I know minis are called plastic crack for a reason, but oh god, there's no way I could fit Centurions on there. Centurions, all the stuff that come out for the combat patrol, for the Space Marine side. Oh god, that's fine though, because once I bring that down and get that shelf set up, I mean it's got like 8 or 10 foot long boards. So if I fill that shelf, hopefully not within the next year, otherwise I'm spending way too much money on minis, I will figure out a plan after that. But I know, like I said, I've almost got everything I want for Space Marines. I still need 6 more Blade Guard veterans after I build these. A few tanks. I can't remember their names, and I'm not going to pull up my list right now because I want to talk about one other thing before I end all of this. What else? There's that. There's the Tyranid minis, all the Tyranid stuff that I have that I'm obviously going to keep using. The Necrons. I probably won't build a huge army of Necrons. I like them, but you know, anytime I play Mechanicus, I want to buy more Necron minis and Mechanicus minis, but I tell myself no. Get your armies you want to build them up, and focus on those maybe in a little bit. Although, I have heard rumors that there might be a new box for World Eaters, and I don't care if the Kriegmarine box is done or not. I will be buying that box, because World Eaters are like my favorite minis, and my favorite like Chaos faction, almost my favorite Space Marines. You know, if it wasn't just for the fact that it was all oh booga booga charge. And they do have my favorite Primarch. Honestly, I don't know of any other Primarch I like more than Angron, because he's super mad, but he's also super sad. And I haven't read the what is it, Angron the Slave of Nubia, or whatever the heck that book is, but I plan on reading it, and I want to get it read. And if it hasn't been out yet, I do have a book. I did finish the first Heretic book, and I do want to talk about that. I've got it recorded. I just got to find videos to put it up along. That'll come out eventually. Anything else? Oh, yes. In the description of this video, I have a link to a Discord that I have started. I just want to kind of say I'm doing this for fun. You have to read the rules and agree to those terms of the rules. They will be a little strict, but I don't really mess around when it comes to any breaking of those rules. The Discord will be for showing off minis. If I introduce people to Warhammer somehow, if they found me instead of all the big YouTubers, there'll be a little channel to kind of talk about like Warhammer stuff. I'll try to be on Discord, like in the chats as much as possible. You got to be respectful in it and everything such like that. So I will be posting like when new stuff shows up, or new minis show up, or if I don't post something, like if I don't post like the build process of something, like I probably won't post how I built these Blade Guard veterans, just because I don't want to take like forever doing that. I will probably have like pictures up on the Discord of how it's going with the what is it? How many Blade Guard veterans are in the... I have 18 in total. So I need to build 12 more because I have 3 full 6-man squads of Blade Guard veterans. And that's before all the new rules. I built that list. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing how the Discord goes. And with this video that you are actually watching, if you are still watching, it should be getting close to wrapping up and such. So a couple things is these eradicators were kind of a pain to do. The sergeant was the easiest one for some reason because he went together fine. I'm not a huge person on painting faces, but his face turned out great. I'm getting better at it. I liked painting faces more, and I wasn't super happy about having to do it initially to start with, but you know what? I did it. It turned out good. It met my quality standard and everything like that. But first problem I noticed when I was building these, I lost one of the arms, like one of the gun holder arms, and I could not find it. I have no idea where it went to. I couldn't find it. So I just cut up a shoulder that was supposed to go on a heavy intercessor and like touched it up and sat there and cut and made it eventually work. The second mini in this video, a main piece of it broke off that was supposed to guide like the chest into the gun and everything. And after that broke, it was a giant pain to try to line everything up. Oh, I thought I was going to lose my damn mind. It took me 5 minutes to do that alone. So, I will see you in the next video. Bye.